Hey, Tom.
Hey, Curtis.
Do you need a beer, bud?
Yeah, I do, buddy.
There you go.
Nice. Time to power up.
Let's do a podcast.
Let's do it.
Does he have a second thought?
I would be. Oh, my goodness.
Welcome to the Hoser Show. With our special guest today, Drew. What do you have to say, brother?
Hey, Drew.
Hey.
Yeah, he's also dressed as some kind of wrestler. Are you a jobber?
No, I'm kind of like half in my Young Bucks costume.
You look like a young and spry Shawn Michaels when he was part of the rock and roll.
Yeah. And the Young Bucks are definitely like kind of a throwback to that old rock and roll or Rock and Roll Express or sorry,
Midnight
not Rock and Roll
Express.
Express, the Midnight Rockers.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. Later, the Rockers.
There was a lot of reincarnations of that team, I believe.
And then later head through the barbershop window and Shawn Michaels going on to have a great career.
Marty Jannetty's career just fucking plummeted after that. I think he was teamed up with Al Snow at some point for a reincarnation.
The new Rockers.
Yeah, the new Rockers, that's right. Yeah.
Al Snow at the time, though, Leaf Garrett, I believe his name was, or Leaf Cassidy, one of the two.
Yeah.
So Drew is a bit of an aficionado on the local wrestling scene, to my understanding, here in Edmonton, Alberta. And there's a couple different wrestling groups in the city. Last summer, Tom and I got to go see a couple live events. One of them was outside and
Really?
some kind of recreation. It was the park in the north side up here, north of 118.
Real Canadian wrestling.
It was real Canadian wrestling.
SCW, yeah.
In August, beautiful day, the wife beaters, everything was there. Everything wanted to see.
Yep.
And then Tom and Quentin and his other friends went to see another wrestling event the year before or something like that.
Yes, that was a fun one. It was.
We talked about it a little bit on our last podcast.
Anyway, we had ringside seats. Everybody was sat at ringside, so they put us against the far wall, which the wrestling ring was like 3 feet away, not even. And so whenever an wrestler did an entrance, he had to like scooch in between us and the ring. And
Like you're at a movie theater and you have to go in front of people's knees.
Yeah.
They're like wrestling around you, so you're like, okay, brother, let's fight. So I wasn't there, but
very trailer trash crowd. It was awesome. Sorry,
Absolutely.
guys. Totally with trailer trash. Gotta do something about that.
You know, I've been to a lot of local shows in the last few years, and there's definitely a bit of an interesting type that shows up there sometimes.
the dedication is measurable.
Oh, for sure. There's some people that, I don't attend every one, but there's some people that are absolutely there every time.
Are you just a viewer and an admirer, or do you help with the wrestling?
I have nothing to do with it. I mean, I'd love to somehow be involved in the business.
I'd love to be a referee. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Every time somebody does a body slam, you just jump a little bit off the mat.
Make an astounded look.
It was just Halloween last weekend, right?
Yeah.
And Thomas dressed up as
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Cream of the crop, brother.
And then Tom did a sick Macho Man monologue on the karaoke machine, and that won me over. And I said, you know what, we got to have some kind of wrestling podcast, perhaps. I don't really know anything about amateur wrestling or wrestling or.
Well, it's professional wrestling.
Professional.
Amateur wrestling is the real stuff.
Okay.
It's hilarious though that it's called amateur wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And it's the stuff that's an actual like combative sport.
Oh right.
And professional wrestling is the ballet of sorts.
And amateur wrestling, is that what you see in the Olympics?
Yes.
The wrestling?
Yeah.
Kurt Angle won 3 medals, I think.
Yeah.
Sweet.
There was a whole South Park episode back in the early to mid 2000s about that. Had a wrestling coach, and it's like, that's not real wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Talking about like the WWE product and all that.
Or back then it was WWF, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, those were the good
yeah,
years.
I can't remember what year that changed. It changed probably around like 2002 or 2003-ish.
It seems like it's 50-50. Some people know why they changed, and some people don't know why they changed from WWF to WWE. I, in fact, do know why.
Because of the World Wildlife Fund?
That's correct.
Yeah.
The World Wildlife Fund. Those hippie animal-loving bastards.
Yeah.
Don't appreciate the good
No,
wrestling.
goddamn
That's okay. They can actually.
Bottom line.
I'm pretty sure I can work for those guys. I have qualifications. I love the WWF. What are the different leagues around Edmonton? What are they called? Real Canadian Wrestling. That was one, right?
There's Real Canadian Wrestling, RCW. There's MPW, which is Monster Pro Wrestling. And there's PWA, which is Prairie Wrestling Alliance. That's the one that I've probably gone to the most, and I think their product is probably the higher quality of them.
Sometimes they have pretty good wrestlers come down in a spot show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Spot show being a lot of moves chained together, for those who don't know what spot means.
Yeah, like they've had, all the promotions definitely try and bring in guys from other promotions, like name guys that come in and whatnot. But PWA has had Christopher Daniels in the last year, Cody, Jay Lethal, like a lot of Ring of Honor guys.
Yeah.
Which have put on great matches here.
Sweet. Do you think we can maybe organize like a heavy metal wrestling show?
I think WCW tried that once. It didn't turn out too good.
No? Well, no, we can have a ring on the floor and then the band on the stage. I mean, the ring won't be elevated, but like it'll be padded, and it'll have some ropes, and then they'll be doing wrestling stuff while the bands are playing, and then there'll be people like against the ring.
That wouldn't work good. It definitely wouldn't work.
You can't have it during. Like you can have it like matches during the break of the bands, or vice versa.
Yeah.
A band playing in between matches, but having them at the same time just it would draw people's attention one way or another, which is not good because you'd either have people paying attention to the match and not the band,
absolutely,
or people paying attention to the band and not the match.
Well, what's wrong with like, just going back and forth?
What was that band? Fear Factory was playing at that WCW event. It was on a beach, and they were playing music while there was matches. It was awful.
Yeah, it was not a good idea. Now, like a joint event in the first place is a great idea if it could happen.
Oh yeah,
like that would be amazing. I think.
Remember Stampede Wrestling? That was a good Alberta league.
Yeah, because Stampede had. Obviously they were hugely prominent in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and then they were defunct for probably a decade in the 90s or so. In the late 90s, they came back. I remember I was in high school. So this was probably right around 2000.
I am the principal.
The principal Richard Pound. They had come back in about 2000 or so, and they're starting to build it up again. And I remember, because I was living out in Stony Plain, that's where I grew up, and they'd come to Stony Plain and Spruce Grove, and I remember going to those shows at the community hall, and there's literally like 20 people there.
Yeah.
And these guys putting on great matches. And back then, there's guys, Tyson Kidd, currently a backstage guy in WWE. Yeah. His name was TJ Wilson at the time. He was like a kid. Harry Smith Jr., who's now like 6'4", 260 pounds, like huge guy, but he was just the scrawniest little dude back then. Teddy Hart was also just starting out.
Teddy Hart, I remember that. He did a good name for himself.
Yeah, well, he made a great name for himself because he was an amazing performer, but blacklisted himself from everything.
I heard he's done a couple things he shouldn't have.
Like he was one of the youngest guys to ever be signed to WWE, and then like immediately fired.
What year is this? You're talking to a complete layperson.
From like 2010 or something, or maybe
no. This was like 2001.
2001. Oh,
early,
that. Okay.
He was young.
Decade off.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's just Teddy Hart just has a general like bad, no bullshit attitude, and a lot of people he's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, like behind the scenes.
Definitely not a Owen Hart or Bret Hart, that is for sure.
No.
Or a Jim Neidhart, although I think that was
everyone loved Jim.
Yeah. Who just recently passed away due to falling down at his home.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Due to falling down.
Vader also passing away this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Vader passed. Anyone else?
Well, Vader, Jim Neidhart. Those are probably the two big ones.
Yeah. I can't recall exactly if there was anyone else, really. Maybe Balls Mahoney. Actually, no, that was several years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Drew, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have an older brother, an older sister, and a younger stepbrother.
So you got a big family.
Fairly big, yeah.
And Tom, he's got an identical twin named David, right? I don't have any siblings.
No.
And maybe that might have to do with why I don't wrestle. Right? I didn't wrestle as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Because I just played by myself. It was in my head. But you guys had body contact. You touched each other. You pushed each other. You watched stuff on TV, and then you practiced that on the couch. I never had that.
Drago.
And maybe that's why I'm such a pussy. I can't fight. I don't know.
I've never been in a real fight in my life.
Yeah, me neither.
But
I got my nose punched and opened up a couple times.
ouch.
So I think it's really beneficial to have siblings.
Yeah, well, my older brother, I mean, he's the reason that I got into wrestling as a kid, because he's 4 years older than me, so he was into things before I was, and he was into wrestling, and so then I got into wrestling as a kid, and we were both wrestling fans.
You know what? Fuck, I got suplexed once.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I actually have a half brother. He wasn't really around a whole lot growing up. He's my father's first son, and he's also 10 years older than me. So when I was like, obviously 10, he would have been 20, or when I was 16, 6, something around there. But I do recall like hanging out once in someone else's house, and then they were wrestling, of course. That's what you did in the late 90s. And then, I totally got picked up and suplexed by this guy. But now I could totally suplex him because
Oh, yeah. Now you're a little more solid.
I'm a bit bigger than he is.
Was it just like a normal plain Jane suplex?
Was it like a belly to back suplex?
Yeah.
German suplex?
Is it German
side
suplex?
suplex?
Did you sell it like one of the Japs, man? Strongman style wrestling?
Straight on the head?
Straight on the fucking head?
I'm making the
Did you sell
gesture.
it?
This is my head. This is my crotch. And you flip me upside
Oh,
down.
that's a body slam, bro.
Totally body slam.
Okay, good. Thanks. That's why you guys are here, because I don't know. That's a body slam.
Did you sell it like a fish on the ground afterwards?
I sold something. I don't know. Fuck. Okay, you got that covered. So we have this big boy over here in the corner on this. We got a photo of
Stan Hansen.
Stan
Man.
Hansen, the man.
Yeah.
And I wish I could appreciate him, but can you talk to him a little bit about maybe like Japanese wrestling for those who don't know much? Because I believe he's in a photo of him in Japan
yeah,
here.
Stan Hansen was especially in the 80s, one of the more prominent, you call it gaijins, as it would be, foreigners in Japan.
White devils.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they use those terms, but he was a big draw in Japan, especially for being just a white dude, and he had a lot of very big prominent matches and titles, and he had the lariat, the clothesline, or lariat as you might call it, that was just like knock your head off.
Devastating looking.
One of the best.
Was Triple Crown champion, I believe, once or twice.
Yeah, wouldn't doubt that.
Along with other names like Vader and Mitsuharu Misawa. He really only went into WCW maybe for a couple matches, and WWF never, but somehow he's in the WWE Hall of Fame. Go figure how he got that one.
Yeah, who knows? WWE's Hall of Fame is the weirdest pile of dog shit.
I believe they didn't even put Terry or Dory Funk up there, who are huge names over in Japan, but not all that much here. Terry Funk, more or less known for being in ECW and doing moonsaults at the age of 55 or 56 at the time.
A decade after his first retirement, and then a few years after his second retirement, and third retirement. Like, I think Terry Funk literally retired like 5 times.
Kayfabe.
Yeah. He kayfabe retired five times or so.
Yeah. It was a great time. Thank you, everybody.
Actually, there was an NWA pay-per-view event just a couple weeks ago that I watched, and they had an interview with Dory Funk Jr.
That guy must be like 80.
And he's old, man. Like, he's old. The interview was pretty slow. The announcer girl that obviously didn't know what she was talking about called him Rory Funk Jr.
Rory Funk.
Which is a pretty bad blunder.
YouTube videos of these old wrestling matches in Japan from VHS recordings seem to be very popular.
Yeah.
Just because what I've been watching Tom watch YouTube videos of, the classics, right, over in Japan and WCW.
All Japan Pro Wrestling and FMW at the time.
Yeah. All Japan was huge. Like, right now, New Japan is the quintessential Japanese promotion, but back then, All Japan was right up there with them.
And millions of views per episode.
Yeah.
And these aren't even like really well edited.
No.
They were very ghetto
Straight up
clippings, VHS with like some heavy metal band over it that's never good.
Yeah.
You want to talk about metal a little bit?
Sure, man.
Okay, so Drew is in a number of bands. Currently, you're active in a band called Called.
Yeah. Called.
Cold. Culled.
It's the weirdest thing to say when people ask you what the band is called.
We're called
Because you always want to say we're called blah, blah, blah. But I always have to say the name is Called.
We are called. That's how you say it.
Called the Conquerors.
Yeah. What kind of genre of music is that?
Well, Called is kind of an amalgamation of four individuals, different styles that ends up becoming something unique, which is neat because it's hard to do that in metal these days. And we've had several reputable people kind of commend us for doing something that is a little bit fresh.
Yeah.
So the whole intent is doom grind. That's what we call it.
Sweet.
So to mix stuff.
It's like an oxymoron, isn't it?
Exactly, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do something that mixes like super slow crushing sections with just like blazing fast chaos that is sometimes it's technical, sometimes it's punk, sometimes it's just real slow and crushing. And we kind of, like I said, the four people's influence together is how the product ends up sounding fresh at the end. Because, like Brian, for example, Brian Newberry, one of the most amazing drummers that you'll ever meet, who I've had the pleasure of playing with for
many years
now. He himself is not really a grind drummer. So when we do grind stuff, it's his interpretation of that kind of music. And I'm more of a traditional death metal, thrash metal guy.
Yeah.
And so those are the kind of songwriting sensibilities that I try and suggest when we're writing songs, whereas Shane is like the grind guy. Like he's kind of like the guy who formulated the idea in the first place. So
which guy is Shane again?
Shane, our vocalist.
Yeah.
And so he's the one that can really like help guide us to the final product, right? And then Ben, our guitar player, is very much a prog influenced guy. Like
you just look at his guitar that he has, and he's like, "That's a prog guitar for sure."
Yeah, like his playing is super tight.
It's so
and
prog
super
tech
technical.
rock.
Yeah.
Can you describe what grind is in music?
Okay. Well, grind is kind of like. It's a lot of people think that grind came from death metal, but grind has a lot more to do with punk than anything. In the 80s, when bands like Napalm Death started, and like early Carcass, Nasum for sure. Like Nasum is one of the quintessential grind bands.
Relapse Records.
Yeah, lots of Relapse.
Thank you, Thomas.
Bands.
Apparently, Bolt Thrower here is listed as a grind band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think
that's
so.
what Google says.
Along with these other bands like Pig Destroyer and Cattle Decapitation.
Did you come through?
Yeah, Pig Destroyer would definitely be kind of
Pig, Cattle the Cap, even
Cap,
a little bit
entirely.
older.
They have grindy parts.
Okay, yeah.
Carcass is on here, and so is
Carcass.
Anal Cunt sounds like a good
Anal
band.
Cunt is a grind band.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anal Cunt, everybody.
But yeah, I mean, grind is generally really fast, really loose, short songs.
Maybe
in
the
general.
very first Bolt Thrower album where it was Crust Crossover?
Yeah, possibly.
Or whatever the fuck. Anyway, out of my realm, I do not know anything about grind.
I'm not super versed in Bolt Thrower myself.
Right now we're talking about the crevices and the nooks and crannies of the different genres of extreme music. Otherwise known
you're
as
playing
metal.
you said a grind, what band?
Doom grind.
Doom grind, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, Doom grind.
So they I heard a little bit of you guys, and I know you guys just released an album actually.
Yeah.
And it's so far reviews are really, really good.
Yeah, we've gotten a pretty good positive response on it so far.
Yeah.
The album is called
check it out.
Thin the Herd, Fail to Learn.
Yeah.
And it's out on vinyl, CD, and cassette.
I've heard that one. Yeah. It's pretty sweet. It's kind of I want to say it's definitely for some thrash influence.
Yeah.
But it's very dark thrash, and it's got that grungy and also some of the grind in there.
Do you guys have something up on YouTube as well?
It's very dirty.
Yeah, we've got a few things.
It's dirty music.
There should be a full album stream up there somewhere, and there's a couple other individual tracks maybe.
Just make sure you're talking in the mic, Tom. As
sorry.
I talk away from the mic to tell you.
Turning your head.
Don't do as I say, not as I do. Right?
You were also involved very heavily in a band called Death Toll Rising.
Yep. Death Toll Rising was. I mean, I'll insistently say that we're not broken up because everyone assumes that.
Hiatus.
But it's just on a very long hiatus hold.
Yeah.
We had a really busy, very busy time between roughly about 2010 and 2016. And we accomplished a lot, put out some great music, had some great shows, some good tours, and just kind of got burnt out at the end.
Yeah.
Burnt out creatively with it. And I mean, it was my bread and butter.
Yeah. You got at least one music video.
Yeah, we had a music video.
What's the song?
Scorched Earth Policy.
Scorched Earth Policy, Death Toll Rising. Check it out.
Yeah.
I may or may not be in that video. Remember?
Yeah.
But we were recording at an abattoir at a
Practically,
a meatpacking facility near where?
Calahoo, Alberta.
Calahoo, Alberta, buddy.
Yeah.
And it was very, I guess what I'd say is a standard death metal video where it's a group of like people headbanging around the band in a kind of a warehouse situation.
Yeah, performance video.
Really good footage in that, like kind of a grungy look to it. Really good editing.
Yeah.
Really, really well done.
Yeah, we're super happy with how that video turned
Yeah.
out, and all the people that came out and toughed it out. Because I remember
It was hard.
It got really cold that night. It
was very cold.
People stuck around to
Cement
to
floors.
film for like 5 hours.
It was 4 or 5 hours of headbanging.
Yeah.
So
I have it right here.
if you're going to play that, bring it up to the mic. So Tom is trying to play Scorched Earth Policy video on YouTube.
Yeah, the video was shot by a local guy named Lindsay Robinson, very talented video and filmmaker. And actually, the final edit was done by Dan Cleary from Stryker.
Very heavy stuff.
That was a fun song to play. So first, I got to fill in bass for 2 or 3 gigs with Death Toll Rising.
Oh yeah.
So
Those are fun gigs.
definitely advanced. Like I play bass guitar. I try to. And I fudged a lot of stuff, but it's hard stuff. It's really quick. It's very fast music.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think a lot of people, like anyone that's kind of joined the band or had to learn stuff, we've had several fill-in people here and there throughout our career. They're always kind of surprised at the skill level once they try and learn it.
yeah.
Because we definitely we try and make our music accessible and heavy so that on the surface people are like, oh yeah, I can dig this, but we have a lot of super tricky nuances in our structures
Yep.
that kind of throw people for a loop a little bit.
But it's very enjoyable.
But, we're very careful,
Yeah.
especially when we're making our last album, and we're very careful and meticulous about those kind of things. Like, we still want to have hooks, we still want to make catchy music that people can get into, but then find the places and times to be technical and to be weird without alienating people. Right?
And I'm in a band. We've talked about the Sadistic Embodiment, and that shares the same drummer, Brian Newberry.
Yep.
He's in all of the bands in Edmonton, if you didn't know.
And I filled in bass for that band too.
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah, for sure. So this summer when I was in Norway, Drew filled in on bass guitar for one of our gigs in the springtime. I believe he did a very good job.
I think so.
It's very simple bass lines, no problem. But one thing that Brian brings to the band is something that what you mentioned to me long ago and what you just said right now is the hook.
Yeah.
So whenever you have a good death metal song, you typically have a build up of some sort. You get the hook, and then this kind of almost a standard structure in a good thrash metal death metal song.
Yeah, it can be.
And it's kind of like writing hit pop songs with Katy Perry and whatnot. It's all about triggering those endorphins and those.
Yeah.
It's something about the pacing. It's kind of like a good book. It's like a good joke. Mm-hmm. It's like comedians. So you got to have the intro.
Like a good book other than a 40-year-old MILF there, Curtis.
A MILF specifically?
Specifically with a cleaning pool boy.
Okay, Tom.
But yeah, I know what you mean by kind of, like like a pop structure or pop sensibility, because in the early 2010s, I kind of I was listening to so much death metal and tech death and stuff like that, and I kind of just listened to too much of it. So for a good 6 months, I was literally listening to the pop radio stations in Edmonton, the Bounce and stuff like that, whenever I was in my car, just to kind of get something different. And it totally helped my songwriting in that kind of vibe, that kind of structure, to know a lot of those songs have very specific structures, and very almost every single pop song ever, when the bridge is done, you go back into the chorus, but it's in lo-fi, or it's only half the chorus without instruments, and then they bust in, and it's no matter how many times they do the same formula,
some kind of rebuild,
it's still as powerful every time.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things I started to get really conscious of, key changes and all sorts of just different techniques that I've tried to incorporate into songwriting. Mm-hmm. It helps a lot.
Who do you think is in the Billboard Top 100 right now, number one?
Fuck if I know.
For pop, for regular people music?
For regular people music.
I don't know now.
Maroon 5, who would have fucking thought?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Jeez,
I thought Adam, what's his name, took solo years ago.
Fuck.
Just had to put that in there, sorry.
Okay, so
let's the top 5.
let's hear that.
Okay, sure. I don't know any of these people. Maybe you will. Number 2, Sicko Mode by Travis Scott.
Nope.
Number 3, Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD.
Nope.
Number 4, Happier by Marshmello and Bastille.
Bastille?
And number 5, Better Now by Post Malone. Don't know any of these people.
So I've heard of Post Malone. He's the weird redneck R&B singer.
Number 14, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Oh my god, I heard that one. That's terrible.
From the movie, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I forget what the hell it's called.
Yeah, Star is Born.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know any of these people.
I knew I knew who Maroon 5 is and Post Malone, but those other 4 or those other 3, no idea.
Do they have a top 100 for metal heads at all?
Well, there's probably hard rock, or
it'd be by Roadrunner Records or something, I bet.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, iTunes has a metal chart. You can look up on iTunes the top. Metal.
As what, downloaded tracks?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Or tracks or albums or whatever. But Billboard themselves.
I'll take a look. I'll come back and let you know.
Hey, Tom, you want to tell us about your surgery?
Which one?
The one where you got your balls extracted.
No, oh yes, I went to Vietnam and got them both shot up, but I wanted to hang on to them, so they finally did something years later.
Yeah, they actually replaced them with marbles in Vietnam.
You have no marbles.
No, that's actually your brother. He went to Vietnam and got his marbles replaced.
That's right.
But you actually had some serious surgery in your face.
Yeah, no, I had a tonsillectomy and an adenoidectomy, where they remove this big-looking gland at the end of your nasal passage and your tonsils, because mine were the size of my thumbs and were useless, and I could not. And
your old thumbs.
Yeah, and I could not enjoy awesome people food. So
harsh.
Your blowjob game really dropped too.
Yeah, totally.
But now it's through the roof.
Definitely top 20 still, I'd like to think, but not top 5. I totally lost my blowjob skills.
For a little while there, maybe 5 days, 6 days after his surgery. That's why we didn't do a podcast last weekend.
Awful.
He just couldn't talk. Right? He had major surgery in the back of his mouth.
I sounded like an asshole.
Well, what he means is that Tom called me up a couple days before we were supposed to do the podcast last weekend, so on a Thursday, and he's talking to me on the phone, and at first I didn't recognize who was speaking to me, but the cadence and the way he was speaking was Thomas.
Yeah.
But his voice had gone higher. He had a higher, goofy voice.
Thank God it's not that.
And in my mind, I'm like,
yeah.
And he's like, yeah, this is my voice now. For this forever.
Thank God that didn't happen.
And I'm like, oh God, I can't do a podcast with this guy.
Yeah.
It was an awful nasally high pitch voice.
I was like, hi, I'm Thomas.
Steve Urkel, thanks there, Curtis. Hi, I'm Curtis. Welcome to the hosers and guests and
the opposite of Curtis's voice.
So I listened to a voicemail I left my partner.
Oh yeah.
I'm straight. Anyways, And then I realized that no one can understand what I'm saying on telephones anyways. Fortunately, a lot of these studio microphones can pick up my low, grumbly, mumbly, stupid voice.
The telephone frequencies.
But telephones, especially if I'm speaking low and quiet-ish, I go... Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, I got to work on that. But if I speak in telephones like, "Hey guys, I'm Curtis and I'm leaving you a voice message now. It's all clear, isn't it?"
I wouldn't want to hang out with you. It's Curtis, huh?
Yeah. It's amazing what hearing your voice makes you think about yourself.
Oh yeah, I hate listening to my voice.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it.
I want to punch myself in my face.
Thomas has the best voice. So this is our second podcast, by the way.
Okay.
And the first podcast, we did not really have a name. We didn't really have a name yet. So we're thinking of calling it
Curtis and Hosts.
That was the original name that Tom just shot out.
Very original, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Thomas is considered a host as well, maybe even a co-host and engineer.
Well, this is the top 2018. Sorry to barge in, but breaking news.
Breaking news now.
Fucking number 1 downloaded song is Lightning Strike by Judas Priest. Number 2, Firepower by Judas Priest. Wishing Wells by Parkway Drive. Can you really consider that metal?
Yeah.
Who's Parkway Drive? Anyway, On My Teeth by Under Oath.
That's another one that you're...
Sire of Sin by Cryptopsy.
Hey, that's sweet. Cryptopsy.
There's 2 Light the Torch songs. War Horns by Angra. I could see that one. But,
which Cryptopsy song was that? What was it called?
Sorry, it was called Sire of Sin? Seer of Sin? Sire of Sin?
Sire, I guess.
Probably Sire. Yeah, that's off their new...
Anyway, there's like a song by Rivers of Nihil. And,
Nile.
Yeah.
Sweet, yeah, Rivers of Nile has a new album coming up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
A-Home by...
Their last album was fucking killer, and that was only like a year ago.
Yeah, they're pumping out material.
Anyway, I guess, well, if you said yeehaw to any of those, then I guess maybe they actually know what they're talking about for top 10, except
for Under Oath and Parkway Drive.
I'm also
Parkway
like
Drive.
a little
off.
curious as to how Judas Priest made it in the top two songs.
This is
They had a new album this year.
Well, and they're a recognized name.
Yeah.
You just shoot out the name, you produce some
surprised it's
shitty
not Metallica,
music or
though.
good music, it doesn't matter. It's recognized.
His new album was last year.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Did Metallica's album last year get any kind of chart topping?
Oh, probably.
Just
I'm
because
sure
of
it was.
Metallica.
Yeah, like I'm sure it was number 1. But the thing is with Metallica is like they're not even on metal charts anymore. They're on hard rock charts.
So correct me if I'm wrong. But
Yeah,
it's
the
not
K97 and stuff are
Magnetic
starting to
album,
play
right?
Metallica.
Death Magnetic was 10 years ago.
Oh man, I feel.
So these rock and roll stations on the radio are starting to play old heavy metal.
Yeah.
It's getting
Because
the new
that's
generation
becoming
back
classic
in.
rock now.
That's becoming classic
I mean
heavy
even like
rock.
K97 even plays Nirvana, right? Like that's classic rock. Yeah.
The same 2 fucking songs for 25 fucking years.
I mean, full disclosure, I'm a fucking huge Nirvana fan.
Sorry. I'll stop making fun of the.
He's gone. He just left.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys, I didn't know it was this kind of podcast. Making fun of Nirvana.
Sorry. Stop immediately.
This is our second podcast. I think we're calling it The Great Hosers and Guests.
Great hosers and guests.
Featuring myself, Curtis Viville, and the great 8-Bit Tom.
8-Bit Tom, brother. No plug required.
Yeah. And we might even have some kind of soundtrack to add in at the intro and at the outro. So there'll be a little bit of editing.
You should probably find some Bob and Doug McKenzie to have in, because if you're calling it the Hosers, then I mean, like you need some of that.
Oh, I know who that is. It's
Bring it up.
Hey, Bob,
Oh,
eh?
okay, sure. Well, which
What else have we got going on? Like I said previously, I'm probably banking about 4 or 5 episodes, and then we're going to be releasing on all platforms through some kind of provider.
Okay. Have you guys like signed up for any podcast sites or anything?
Nothing.
No.
I've done almost 10% of that work.
bare minimum.
I've done the bare minimum. My microphone is hanging from a light.
It's very
Yeah,
classy.
yeah.
You kind of feel like an announcer in the middle of a ring, don't you?
Tom has got his own mic.
Let's get ready to rumble.
There's some Doug McKenzie.
They can't hear that. You got to get the microphone close.
Corner to Great White North, and look at this. I'm Bob McKenzie, and this is my brother Doug, and this is Doug's new beer bottle. Look. Oh, take off, eh? It's got baby bottle. Although it's not bad, eh? It's like a condensed version of a Saturday night.
Turn it up.
Oh, I don't know how to do such thing.
Okay, today we're going to talk about our topic, and the topic is why the parking lots are so small.
I'm having a beer shower here, eh?
Oh, jeez.
This little sucker.
That won't be the first time.
Okay, what's the topic?
The topic is why are parking lots so small at donut places, okay? Like,
Anyway, Doug, the hosers.
Thanks, Thomas.
The ultimate hoser.
Fuck.
Don't go blowing no more smoke in my face.
Okay, so what did you think about the last podcast, Toma? Toma, that's your name now.
I thought it was good.
Toma.
Toma
Sounds
drums.
like a Scandinavian nickname.
Toma. You thought it was good.
Yeah.
That's your review.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? There's
Any
not much.
regrets?
There's always regret.
Hey, Thomas practically was infallible. I had all the idiosyncrasies. I did all the stupid things. He only had like deep breathing. I think you can hear him right now. He's going.
My asthma. Listen to me breathe.
Where's my puffer?
Yeah, he's got a squeaky nostril. I can hear the nose hairs flickering in the
That
wind.
was pre-surgery, motherfucker. How dare you?
So it might be better
Everything's
now.
changed now.
The change man.
But for me, I was doing this kind of goofy thing. I was going. This nervous laugh, right? We had our first guest on, David
He's in
Linfield,
limits right now. He's
and
sweating
that was not cool, you know. And I had this. We all get it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I was in Norway talking to. I was in a bar called the Garage in Bergen, and at the Garage, the local big metal artists come by and they shoot the shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's late, like it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. On our way back, me and my friend from the rugby club, and bump into some of the guys from Enslaved.
Oh, yeah.
Two of the guys, and I already forgot his name. There's Einar, right?
I don't know their names.
Sign my tits.
Where's Mike Puff when you need him?
Yeah, Puff.
know.
Thank you, Puff. So Einar, that's what I'm calling. He's the big guy. He plays guitar. He's got a big beard. He has a project with Ivor. Oh, Jesus Christ, Ivor Selvik or Einar Selvik.
These are ridiculous
And
names.
They're all Einar, Ivor, Igor, Hodor.
Come here and pillage our land.
And I'm talking to him, and I'm a big fan of Enslaved. Not big enough to remember their names, of course, because that's how shallow I am.
Jabroni.
Hey, man, you can be a fan of the band without knowing the name of every single song on their first demo.
That's
and
fair.
all the members.
I feel like I was almost a social
Some people get
justice
real
warrior.
sticky about that kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
well, how can you be a fan of this band?
You're right,
Or
I'm
how can you
sorry.
have a shirt of that band if you don't know all their albums
I
and their
shall
entire
commit
history?
seppuku, die with no honor.
So the guy,
Be a big fan without knowing their members. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair.
the guy I'm with knows him. It's a small town, Bergen, and then everybody knows everybody. So Kristen was speaking to him and introduced me, and I'm kind of half cut already, and I'm talking to him, and I'm from Canada. I'm a big fan, but like in between the breaks and the silence, I do this thing. It's like laughing like
You're so funny.
like a fucking idiot. that I busted the microphone.
No, I'm surprised you didn't fucking clip at all.
That's because I was
You turned
laughing
your
into
head,
the
yeah.
ceiling.
Yeah, wow.
I was going, ah! My face was going upwards.
That's funny.
And then ever since then, I've been monitoring my levels.
Your levels of fake laughter.
My levels of fake laughter.
That's kind of sad, though. That's sad. I pity you. I'm sorry, Curtis.
Don't pity me.
Don't cry for me.
Can you
I'm
recount a
already
time when you've met one of your idols in person?
Yes.
dead.
Let's hear the story.
Let's see. Like honestly, I've never been like a meet your idols kind of person. It's not to say it.
You want a beer?
Yeah, sure. It's not to say I never have, but like I like the idea of like chance meetings and just like running into one of them, being like, "Hey, man, like I like what you do. Shake your hand." I don't ever want to be
After
like,
a concert, I don't like doing that because they have to deal with that already. And what are you going to say?
yeah, like I never want to necessarily have a conversation with them. I just want to shake their hand, be like, "Great job," and then peace out. I don't want to be one of those guys like, "Oh my god," like blah 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 blah, or like line up to meet them or things like that. And actually, I do have a really awesome story about meeting some of my idols or some great musicians, and this was about 10 years ago at the Monsters of Rock show in Calgary. That was this one-time festival they did, and like Ozzy headlined. Testament was on it, Shadows Fall was on it, 3 Inches of Blood, Zimmer's Hole, Serge Tankian, Cavalier Conspiracy. Like, and it was at
smokes!
It was at the football stadium in Calgary, and they only did this festival this one time, and it wasn't a touring festival. They just happened to choose Calgary, Alberta, to do it. Great lineup. It was awesome, and so after the festival, across the street from the stadium is this little shit bar. I think it was called the Alcove or something like that. It was this little shit bar at this shit motel where we happened to be staying. And so there's a bunch of people from the festival, like fans, hanging out there. And we walk in, and there's me, Brian Newberry, Amanda Kiernan, the singer from the Order of Chaos and Into Eternity. She was with us, my girlfriend at the time. And there might have been another one or two friends with us. And we walk into this bar, we look for a place to sit. And the first thing we see at a table is a table with Alex Skolnick from Testament, Greg Christian from Testament, Jason from Shadows Fall, John from Shadows Fall, and they're all just like at their own little table, like hanging out, just getting drunk, like having beers. And we're like, oh my god. And we love these guys. Like,
What do you say? Like,
yeah,
that's the
exactly.
thing.
But so we're just like, well, man, like we find our table. It's a busy bar. It's a very busy bar. We actually found a table though. And we're kind of sitting over there, and we keep watching people like walk up to them and like get inside their circle, being like, "Hey, man, like, can we talk?" or something like that.
And you don't want to
right?
reciprocate that.
And
You want to leave a good
I look at all
impression.
these people failing because the guys are just like, "Oh yeah, like cool, thanks, right on," like fist bump or shake hands, and
I'll sign this.
And then the people like awkwardly stand around as these guys ignore them, as they should, because like don't go bothering them. But we're just like, man, we can't be those people. We don't want to be that. So
then you guys write a song together and then start singing it.
Well, it was what actually happened was it was a karaoke night at this bar as well.
Oh, convenient.
So Amanda went up and did some karaoke.
Amanda is a front woman for Order of Chaos. Yeah. She's got amazing pipes.
Amazing voice, great singer.
Can you say that for a woman? She's got great pipes.
Great pipes.
That's definitely true.
Anyway, so yeah, she goes up and does some karaoke. She does "Cold as Ice," like that, like classic song. It's cold as ice.
Yeah.
And just crushes it, and kind of got like everyone in the bar, including this table of Shadows Fall and Testament guys, like perking up. They're like, "Oh man, that's awesome, right?" And so Amanda walks back to our table and sits down, and like their table kind of like gives us the air cheers with their beers, and we're like, all right, yeah, cool, right? Like they cheers this all from across the bar. And you know, we continue to have some beers by ourselves and get drunk, and then me and Amanda go up to do some more karaoke, and we're singing
Drunk as fuck.
Well, we weren't drunk as fuck yet, but we were getting there. So me and Amanda go up and we do Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer" together.
Bon Jovi.
So we're doing a duet, right? And you know, the song kicks in.
Yeah.
And you know, we start doing the first verse. We're like trading off lines or whatever, and then we slowly see Alex Skolnick and Jason Bittner like walk up to the stage where we're doing karaoke, and they're like standing in front of us the way that like people stand in front of a stage and watch a band.
Yeah.
They like got their beers in their hand, and they're like nodding their head while me and Amanda are doing this Bon Jovi song, and it's great. And like we're almost at the chorus, and I wave to them. I'm like,
come on, guys,
inside.
let's go
And
up.
so
Yeah.
when the chorus hits, here's Alex Skolnick and Jason Bittner on stage with us, like singing
Taking
Bon
video
Jovi.
evidence of this.
And then they did the rest of the song with us, and it was great. And afterwards, like, and this is the kicker, afterwards, and I'm just like, oh man, thank you so much. Like, it was great, and you know, just wanted to do the casual shake your hands, and then they said, hey, you and your friends should come join us at our table.
Yep.
And it was like inside, I have like the most raging boner, and
Yeah.
I'm screaming, but I'm just, it's like,
Cool. Yeah. Cool.
dude, it's like in Wayne's World when Alice Cooper's like, it's like, oh, stay guys, hang out, and they're like, sure, we'll stay and hang out with you, with Alice Cooper. We're not worthy. Like that's what it's,
We're not worthy.
that's what I was feeling inside.
We're not worthy.
I kept it cool, but I was inside. I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So yeah, like we grab our chairs and we go sit with them and end up just having beers and shots and whatever with them for the next couple of hours, and yeah, and that was it. Like that's how I like to meet idols.
They should
Like,
approach you.
whisper the
Best
night.
case scenario, but that
Like-
fucking never happens.
Well, exactly, and that's why this is such a rare
Unless you're
story. Where,
a female.
well, of course, that's different.
Yeah.
too,
Absolutely.
But I mean, and, you know, there's been a couple times in my life where I like did the meet and greets. Like one time I lined up to meet Dave Mustaine at HMV, and it was like, you know, it was just like the worst. Like he doesn't even like make eye contact with you when he signs your shit and like sends you down to the next person on the table. It was
Yeah.
brutal, right?
Poor Dave.
Poor
Yeah.
Dave.
I have a meeting your superstar story, but it's kind of pathetic. When Motorhead came down here with 3 Inches of Blood and Dan 13 back in 2004 or something. Sorry, maybe it was Reds or Eds at the time, I can't remember.
Right, red still, yeah.
And there was a tour bus out there, and I just went and knocked on the tour bus door. The bus driver opened up, and then I was like, what do you want? And I'm like, I was wondering if I could get Lemmy to sign something. He's like, hold on a minute. And he gets Lemmy, and fucking Lemmy comes out and is like, hey kid, you got some smokes? I'm like, no, I don't smoke. He's like, and literally fucking turns back around into the bus. So I'm like, fuck. So I literally
Did you take up smoking? because of
I
that?
ran across the street, bought a pack of smokes, and then came back and knocked on the door. And the bus driver's like, what the fuck do you want, kid? And I'm like, I have a pack of smokes for Mr. Lemmy. And he's like, hold on, I'll go get them. And he gets them. He's like, here's some smokes. And he's like, thanks, kid. And he's like, here. And he like hands me over this 2.6 of JD's been drinking. And if Lemmy hands you a bottle, you drink.
Yeah.
So I did and kept it down. It's like, you're a good kid. Handed me a smoke, had a smoke with Lemmy. Left.
You smoke to smoke even though you don't smoke.
Yeah, and then I literally walked like a minute away, not even, into between two cars and puked my guts out. I was so sick. I was green face from smoking nicotine. So I think I like inhaled it like you would inhale weed,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So I felt like, and the JD didn't help. Like, oh my god, I don't do straight liquor, so I puked my guts out. I went and saw Motorhead smelling like puke. I was the guy. Sorry, everybody.
You were that guy.
Yeah.
I was that guy.
There's always one guy without a t-shirt on, super sweaty, repping against everybody.
Oh, at the shows? Oh,
Oh,
big
I
concerts.
wasn't that guy. I
shirtless
wasn't.
guy. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I hate shirtless guy, man.
I got I think my first concert.
Spilly beer guy too is pretty bad.
Okay, so my first concert, I was like 15, 14. And I was really into POD.
Yet. Very
Oh,
eating
shit,
on potato and carrots.
I still listen to the fundamentals of Southtown, brother.
That's pretty fucking cool. We're bonding right now, me and Drew. Payable on Death. It's this Christian hard rock band from Southern California.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're basically like new metal. They're rap metal. Like, they're heavy as shit at sometimes.
Yeah, man.
NU metal people. Not
They're new metal.
W.
So that was kind of like the first band I really fell in love with.
Yeah.
Then later on, I realized I didn't go to church. My family's atheists, so I didn't really know anything about Christianity. And here I am walking around with the POD Trinity on my fucking chest. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I ordered a sterling silver necklace with the POD Trinity on there.
What is POD for some of us?
Payable on death. That's what they call themselves, I guess. They're a bunch of hitmen, right? So that was probably my first concert, and Lacuna Coil. It's an Italian gothic rock band.
Sean Miller's in love with that band.
Yeah?
Or used to be anyway.
Two vocalists in Lacuna Coil, a man and a woman. Pretty cool band. I didn't appreciate them at the time. Like, I walked in and there's Lacuna Coil, which is today be like, oh fuck yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Totally like mid 2000s kind of
Right.
Like stuff like
Where was the show?
This was at, which was first, Reds or Eds?
Reds.
So this would be at Reds.
Reds, yeah. Okay.
And POD was headlining. Lacuna Coil was probably supporting.
Yeah.
So you were into like Mudvayne and all that stuff.
And I never got to see Mudvayne. Anyways, so my first experience of this was we were packed in the fucking the concert hall like sardines, right? And it's one of those concerts where you're all moving as one. You're a wave, okay? So you're swaying.
Because the music has that kind of groove, right? It's not like extreme metal that changes all the time. It's like
good acid too.
POD song is just like it's got a groove like the whole time.
Until there's a fat, sweaty, shirtless son of a bitch rubbing against you. And then, this is my mom, right? My mom, I'm a single child.
She would love that.
I'm a single child, so I'm probably pretty pampered, pretty protected, right? So I come home, and then the day later, I got a fucking ringworm on my arm.
Oh, man.
Yeah, on my right arm, right? Like, where is this? This is my...
Dude, I'm surprised you've gone to a metal show ever again after that.
So I had this, like, a ringworm is kind of like a...
It's like a horseshoe, right?
No, it was in the shape of a circle.
Oh, it was a full circle. Okay.
It was a circle about 1.5 inches diameter, a little bit raised skin, a little bit, kind of purplish. Then you apply kind of like some antifungal. It's not,
cream.
There's not actually a fucking worm in your arm.
Well, yeah.
It's some kind of fungal infection in your arm that you get from sweaty naked guys or whatever at a disgusting fucking metal show. It was super hot. I'm pretty sure it was illegal too. I think they had too many people in that room.
The immune system of a pampered single child.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't eat dirt because I didn't have any brother to smash my face in the dirt.
I can picture like a sweaty, almost naked Chris Farley when I picture a fat, sweaty guy.
Yeah,
they exist.
I party with Chris Farley. Yeah, and then after that was like Guar.
Oh yeah.
Oh, always a classic. Sound of the Underground there.
No, this was at Reds as well.
Yeah. I've
by the way,
them at Reds a couple times. Yeah.
By the way, Reds is in West Edmonton Mall. So for our 5 listeners that may or may not be from Edmonton, West Edmonton Mall at one point was the largest mall in the world, and then in North America, and then in Canada, and then like in Alberta.
And then I think Chicago took the title away.
Chicago took the title away.
I can't believe anyone's still trying to take that title away.
What?
I said I can't believe anyone's still trying to take like that title away. I think malls are kind of like a thing of the past.
The Chinese are. Yeah. Pretty sure the biggest malls in China. Or Mall of America.
Well, yeah, I think Mall of America was always like comparable or near there.
So this venue called Reds was a rec room type place with concert, arcade games, bowling. It's a teenager haven.
Yeah.
Heaven.
And then they would have shows there, and there were these 2 awesome pillars right there that you could forget about and smash your face in because mosh pits would go.
It's one of those venues.
A little big. Oh, someone's hitting the pillar.
It's one of those venues with like 2 pillars in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we're packed in there like sardines in the 2000s until they reduced the capacity. And then if you're against one of those pillars or against the bars and the sardine flow, the sardine wave, you have 2 tons of people kind of like pushing on you like a wave of flesh, and then you're puking out your stomach. Your head turns into a tomato.
Yeah.
Especially if you're 15, 14, 130 pounds.
I'm going to a metal show. I'll be fine.
Yeah. Also, that's perfect for body surfing.
I recall doing that one time at a No Effects show at the Expo Center. Is that what we're calling it? It was No Effects in some other show, some other band, and my buddy lifted me up just as a joke, like, because he was a pretty strong guy, and he just lifted me up, and I didn't come down for half an hour. Everybody thought it was hilarious to keep this guy up there and not let him down. And I was a lot skinnier at the time. I was a skinny Thomas.
Did you turn up your gain, Tom? You're just a bit quiet. You're talking low. Maybe you can
just get the mic closer to him.
Oh, well, I didn't change anything now, so I can just turn it low afterwards, and it'll be fine.
Okay, just talk a little bit closer.
Yeah.
You're such a good smooth talker. I want to make sure you're heard properly.
But crowd surfing. That's when you keep your keys and your wallet and cell phone at the time. I know everybody's combining the two nowadays, but you kept that in the front pockets because you didn't know if people were going to be handsy.
Yeah, anytime I was going to a show where I knew I was going to be like heavy in the pit or getting wasted, like I would bring my bank card and my ID, and those are the only two things I would bring. They'd go in my front pocket.
Absolutely, I can second that for sure. Maybe even go one step further and tape the key to the goddamn card.
Yeah,
right on.
For probably my third concert, I just got my first cell phone. It was a flip phone. And I had a handy little belt. You slip it on into your little belt pocket there.
Belt clip.
So it's perfect for moshing until it shoots out your fucking belt and disappears into people's feet. And then
it's done.
And then my mom wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah.
Right.
The wrath of the mom. You know, my first concert was
what?
The Rolling Stones. I was in grade 9. So yeah, probably about 13 years old. This like right around that time, Metallica had come.
Okay.
And I wanted to go so bad, but my mom wouldn't let me. But my dad took us to me and my brother and sister to the Rolling Stones.
Cool,
so
Dad.
I was allowed to go to that one, and that was amazing. It was at Commonwealth Stadium. It was a huge show.
Oh, right on.
And
Commonwealth Stadium. That's sweet.
yeah. We were at the very last row. On the floor, like, so the entire football field had like 100 rows. Oh yeah,
holy
like 100
shit.
rows of seats.
Oh
or something
my
like
god,
that, 120
that would be
rows or
insane.
whatever it is. And we were at the very last row,
Holy
and security wouldn't let us kids stand on our chairs.
Oh, come on.
It was such bullshit, right? My dad's like, they're kids, they can't see. We're in the back row.
Did they even have like all the what do you call them? The awnings or whatever open for seating, like the rows that go upwards to the left and right for a normal football game?
Oh yeah, those were all
so it was
full,
like sold out. Commonwealth
Yeah,
Stadium.
there was probably like
holy
30,
shit!
40,000
Somebody made a
people,
couple million that day. That's for
like,
sure.
it was a big deal.
Because I'm sure Rolling Stone tickets weren't cheap either.
Probably no.
My mom says the Elton John tickets are like 200 something.
So Elton John is coming to Edmonton next fall.
Yeah,
Nice.
the final
And-
Yellow Brick Road tour, I think.
He's doing two dates here at Rogers Place.
And my mom's bringing me there. What a nerd!
Right. Hey man, I'd go see Elton John. It'd probably be a wicked show.
And I was actually confused. I was looking at the Rogers Place website a few weeks ago, and it said Elton John and the date, 12 months from now. So to me, it was like 2018, but it's actually 2019.
Yeah.
And there was a countdown. That's a countdown to ticket sales.
Oh yeah.
Because tickets are going to get sold in seconds.
Absolutely.
2 nights, 3 nights, right?
They're supposed to do a better job at stopping bots from buying them this time around because there was an issue with bots buying a crap ton.
Some kind of like automatic.
Yeah. But it's like Ticketmaster. I watched this documentary a little while ago, or this news story or something, where basically like Ticketmaster themselves are in cahoots with all the resellers already. And it's like they'll go to conferences together to like figure out how to give each other kickbacks for like it's just one big circle jerk of so it's like you think like bots and people that are buying like 300 tickets in the first 10 seconds just to resell. It's like, well, Ticketmaster's literally helping them to do this. It's all just a bunch of shit.
Is there any WWE coming to town?
Currently, I don't think there's any WWE events scheduled for Edmonton.
Let me look it up just to see.
I work at Rogers Place now.
Oh, do you?
I have a few like part-time jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I do night shifts primarily.
Okay.
So we convert the ice after a game to like a concert. The night before last night, I did the conversion to Jack White.
Oh yeah,
Jack White's playing tonight or last night or something.
something. Yeah.
No, there were no events for WWE, by the way.
No.
And there's about 15 crew employed by Oilers Entertainment Group who own Rogers Place, and including Rogers. And we convert the ice by pulling off these carbon fiber boards off the ice and remove the boards, like the hockey boards, a certain portion where the staircases are, and the back of the boards where the stage is going to go, and then we install like subflooring off the ice for the stage to stand on, and we build the stage, and it takes about.
Oh, so you make the stage too, like the
sometimes
and all that shit.
No.
Or no.
So, I this is all new to me. So, in the concert performance entertainment business, there's, like many other businesses, there's subcontractors.
Yeah.
So there's the house crew. The house crew is my crew at Rogers Place, and we mainly touch the ice. We take care of the puck barriers. And when you what do you call it? The glass, right?
Glass, yeah.
Remove the glass.
Stuff that's always there. That has to be
the netting, the glass, and remove the carbon fiber insulation on the ice and install subflooring off the ice beside the rink. And often we will actually construct the stage floor to the specification of their height, 5 feet or whatever they want.
Yeah.
And then a subcontractor like IATSE, IATSE, it's an acronym for International Artists, something.
Isn't it IATSE?
IATSE?
I think so.
I believe so, yeah. IATSE and XA. I don't know how big XA is, but when I come and start my shift, I'm walking through the underground at Rogers Place to our staff room to begin, and then they're already breaking down like a show. They're breaking down like Foo Fighters, for example.
Which would seat like 20,000 people as opposed to 18,000 for hockey.
Yeah, so, and then they take care of all the rigging, the lights, the speakers, the screens, and all that. Like the subcontract comes in with like 50 to 100 workers, and they clear it out in about 2 hours.
Wow.
They box everything up, they rush it out. Foo Fighters last week had 18 semi-trailers of gear.
Jeez.
They loaded it up in under 2 hours.
Wow.
Right.
Fuck.
Our friend Helgi, he works for IATSE, IATSE. IATSE. And so I see him there sometimes, say hello. And there's guys crawling up, rigging and de-rigging, and guys rolling up cables, and then they just roll it out in casters, like on wheels, back into the semi-trailers, and they're out of there. And then we finish converting the ice all night. So then I would get off at like between 5:30 and 7:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And then for the week, for maybe 2 games, the Oilers will come and play. And then Jack White comes, and we convert it back into a concert setting. Yeah. And sometimes the performer, like Foo Fighters, actually brought their own stage, like their own stage floor.
Yeah.
And then they subcontracted this IATSE and XA. And then they would set up the lighting and everything. Jack White, we set up our own stage floor. We have it, so we set it up. And then the subcontractor comes in and brings in all the lighting and volume and everything. So that's all new to me. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And we do it all night. We work late, and it's a nice job. So.
Did you pass a similar Wayne's World stage crew tests, like the tennis balls being launched at you? And
that's hockey pucks primarily.
Oh, okay. Well, the Canadian version. Okay.
But my best memory so far, so I'm installing the benches for the players to sit on next to the rink, right?
Yeah.
And we all know how much these fucking hosers spit and launch fucking boogers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm installing the benches, and then there's the backboard behind where the coach walks. The coach is on a kind of a riser.
Yeah.
He's on behind the players, and I'm looking there. I'm screwing in a nut, and I see this booger just stuck against the riser, like stuck against the board behind me.
Does somebody clean those?
They must, because it's actually not bad.
Oh, okay.
They just missed that one because it's like hard on there, like concrete, And it's bloody too, so I can just imagine this millionaire
that's
man.
enough description, I think.
This millionaire guy, he takes his nose and he kind of like points it behind him.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, that's $1 million booger right there, baby.
Yep.
I felt so privileged.
White privilege, trigger.
DNA test on that bad boy and sell it on eBay.
Those are the perks of the job. I actually haven't asked about what kind of benefits we get, if we get any discount or, but whatever. I don't
Probably not.
I don't see anything at the big places.
Coming up on 1 hour.
That's cool. We got lots of time.
I'm over here walking back, but I was gonna ask if anybody here wanted to open and try a sample of this marijuana I bought from one of the marijuana stores.
Not for me.
Yep.
I had some marijuana on Friday night, and I've never been so high in my life.
Oh, okay.
I don't normally smoke marijuana.
Maybe for another time then.
Okay, so since last episode, marijuana became legal in Canada. And now you can actually walk to a lot of these dispensary
The
areas
marijuana store.
and buy some of the green stuff.
Yep.
But a lot of this is a government, actually all of it is government regulated.
Oh yeah, now it is, yeah, for sure.
And from our past experience of medical marijuana from our friends like David Linfield.
Devastating stuff.
Yeah, we had David Linfield on 2 weeks ago, and like Thomas said, this products that he was bringing in, try out some of his prescribed marijuana. Yeah, it's really intense. So if the three of us smoked that shit right now, we'd be even more retarded.
But how about this?
Hey, you can't say that.
I will bring it in.
I just
Yeah,
did.
PC, dude. Let me bring up PC principle. Can't say that.
Yeah, put your arms in it.
Stop PC, bro.
2018, bro.
Stop PC, bro.
Think a different word.
I will. I'm sure this will be entertaining for the one person who's listening to this, but you get to see a pre-stone Tom and then a stone Tom. We'll see.
Before and after.
Yeah, there we go. And also, so I went to this place. It's called Cannabis House on 177 Ave. So it's way up north,
Way north.
65th Street, right? So first off, I drive to White Ave because it's close to my mom's place, and I have to pick up. I still get mail sent there because I don't want it sent here. So I get it sent to Bonnie Dunes, safe area.
Pretty sure all of us have had that thing.
So,
many of us still get mail at our
So I'm
parents'
like,
house.
oh, there's a marijuana store on White Ave. I'll go check it out. So I drive around the front, and this is located near Bulk Barn and Shoppers Drug Mart on White Ave, right close to the Pint and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So then I drive around the front. I'm like, that's not that big of a lineup. It's like 50 people. That's not bad. Then I drive down the street close to the McDonald's and whatnot. It's a lineup all the way to past McDonald's. It's like people were waiting to buy like concert tickets and they needed to stay in line and they needed like tents and shit. So imagine your demographic of fucking people waiting for hockey tickets or concert tickets or whatnot.
Yeah,
but
back
it's a
in the day
bunch,
when you had to wait in line
but it's
at
a bunch of
Ticketmaster.
people with dreadlocks and PJs and sandals.
In the middle of the day on a Friday.
Yeah, that's right. It was the middle of the day, like early. It was like 10:30 or 11 in the morning, and I'm like, do these people not have jobs to go to? What the
They all
fuck?
work in the restaurant business, so they don't start for another 4 hours.
So here I am near White Ave, and I'm looking on my phone. This is like maybe 2 days or 3 days after it was legal, so there's still lineups. I look up my phone, 177 Ave, 65th Street, Cannabis House, right? Drive over there, legit 40 people waiting in line. Go there, ask the mom there with her daughter, how long have you been waiting here, miss? I've waited about half an hour. I'm like, so were you at like the end of the sidewalk? She's like, yeah, and it seems like it's a minute a person. I'm like, it's not bad. I'll wait in line. So I wait in line. Meantime, all these people who are buying weed, they think it's funny to come out and be like, they're out of weed, everybody, go on home, right? And if you're a sorry sap who believes that, then really, you deserve it. But you go in there, and I'm like, hey, can I get some high school weed? Pardon me, sir, I don't know what that means. Can I get something that's like 1% THC? Because I want to be functional, not pass out.
No, you missed part of the story when you talked to the Chinese people.
Oh no, that's a different.
It's coming later.
Yeah, that's a different time.
Cool.
So then I go and anyway, I'm like, yeah. Do you have high school weed? I don't know what that means. Do you have low THC percentage? The lowest THC percentage I could get was like 14%. Back in high school, I probably had like 1% THC, and that put me on my ass. So it's like, Jesus Christ. So I'm like,
Can I get some high school weed?
I want some high school weed, please. But this other time, I'm like, hey, Dave, do you want me to stop by the marijuana store on 177 Ave? And he goes, oh, no, there's one in the Windermere area. I'm like, that's close to your place. I'll check it out.
That's where I live.
And that's right. Curtis lives with my twin brother, Dave.
In a Windermere.
Yeah, real far away.
Fucking fancy.
Oh,
Deep south.
Oh, nice house, too. But so then Dave's like, do you want me to phone them? I'm like, I should have said yes to see if they're even operational, because a lot of people you'll find are listing that they have a marijuana store, but it's not finished being constructed. You can see where I'm going with this. So I go to the location that my brother gives me, and it's this Asian cuisine restaurant. So then I go in there, it's empty, but I can tell that the owner of the place, because he's this old Asian man and he's reading a magazine. I'm like, and I thought I'd be funny, right? So I'm like, hey, can I get some marijuana? And he's like, looks at me, shakes his head, no marijuana. And I'm like, no, it says here on Google that this is a marijuana store. I like some marijuana. He's like, no marijuana. Gets up and literally walks to the back so that I'm the only one in the store.
Just leaves you.
and then I assume his wife comes up. She's like, can I help you, sir? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for some marijuana. Oh, that upstairs, not finished construction yet. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was hoping your husband could sell me some marijuana. And she legit laughs like, he don't smoke marijuana anymore. So it's like, she probably got told. But yeah, don't go asking Google Maps where to go get weed. And if you do, please phone, because you'll save yourself a trip, I'm sure. But anyways,
you got yourself some weed.
I did get myself some weed. I went down there. I asked what the lowest percentage of weed was.
Where did you end up going?
Back to the 177 Ave area, because I noticed that.
Did you wait in line like a hoser?
Nope. There was one person there, and I got.
How many days later is this now?
This was a day or two ago.
Oh, okay, so recent, yeah.
And I go there, and I'm like, can I get your lowest percentage of marijuana? Oh, we're running out of our low percentage, but I'll give you the same price as our low percentage marijuana. I'm like, okay, well, that seems fair. I don't have to pay more. How much is it? 27 fucking percent THC. Give me a break, you guys. Like, can I get some normal fucking crappy red hair weed? Oh, look at all the red hairs. That's what gets you high. Like, give me some of that, man, because that day I tried some of that weed. I literally passed down the couch, drooled on the floor, and my English bulldog, Fat Boy, licked the drool off the floor. That was probably his greatest day. But other
floor
than that,
drool weed.
Yeah, I also made weed butter. I bought 7 grams of weed, and
how much did that cost you for 7 grams?
$70, because it was the low percentage.
Because you got the good deal on it.
That was the very first day. I didn't mention the very first day, but I didn't finish it. But I ended up buying very low percentage stuff, which was 10%. So I'm like, you know what? If that's the lowest you can go, I'll take it. But I made some weed brownies out of it. And then I even bought a vial of THC oil, which was like also 27% THC.
THC oil?
THC oil.
Oh, wow. That would get you
and it was like a vial like this, so I want to guess like 50 milliliters or more. And I put that whole thing in there with the weed butter I did. And I ate a chunk. And after literally an hour and a half or more, nothing happened. I'm like, I'm going to clear my... It just snowed here in Edmonton. It happens. Decided to clear my car, and halfway through clearing the snow off my car, I had no idea why I had a snow brush in my hand or what I was doing outside. So I walked back inside, sat down, and I told my fiance Angie, I think I'm feeling sick. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm very lightheaded. And then I remembered I ate a weed brownie an hour and a half ago. So then I'm like, I can't even sit down and watch fucking TV. So I literally went and lie down in the bed. That's how potent it is. So now whenever people leave, I send them away with a weed brownie and say, don't eat the whole fucking thing. And I made it way more potent than it should have been. I done it one time. I don't want this weed brownie in here anymore. I want it gone.
Yeah.
Maybe a quarter weed brownie is best.
Man, edibles are a whole different fucking level. Man.
You can't
Sneaky
even
little
control
things.
it. You're like, well, I guess I'm fucked for...
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't generally eat edibles.
Yeah,
'cause,
likewise.
You know, and they're so unpredictable. Like you said, like an hour and a half later, you're like,
I'm happy I didn't drive anywhere. I would literally phoned Angie. I would have phoned my mom. I would have phoned anyone.
you
Mom,
imagine
come
just
pick me up.
pulling over on the side of the road, like putting your flashers on, like leaving your car. Just,
Yeah, I'm not driving this anymore. So anybody out there who takes edibles or whatnot, give it some time. You'd be surprised. It does eventually kick in. It takes some time.
yeah, I mean, I've made the mistake, and everyone I know has made that mistake where, you know, you wait an hour, you're like, oh, nothing's happening. I should eat more.
Oh my God, yeah.
The
Talk
worst
about
ideas.
extra fuel on the fire there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Even more than an hour, 2 hours sometimes.
Could be, yeah.
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's usually just, for me, it's just such a body stone that it's uncomfortable.
That's the best way you could actually describe it.
Yeah.
It is uncomfortable to me anyway, to have like a body high, like eating cookies or brownies. That is why I'm cutting them up and I'm sending them with whoever comes at my home. Like
I guess that's us.
that's Drew and Curtis for today. Yesterday was 2 other people.
So, the baby boomers are getting into it.
Yeah.
Because now it's, you know, the government is like saying, you know, thumbs up.
I remember
right?
when I did this back in the 80s.
Well, yeah, everyone who did it in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, but were afraid to do it later because it's illegal. I don't want to do anything illegal.
Oh, yeah.
And now that it's legal, they're like, oh, yeah, I can try this again.
Yeah.
Now, Steve! Phone up Steve! I haven't seen that asshole in a while. We're gonna get high in the garage and play Atari or whatever they were into back then.
Gonna listen to Skinner.
Yeah. Listen, no, Molly Hatchet's the way to go, man. That's like the same band. Give me a break.
My mom got a prescription for oils.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dangerous.
For back pain and to help her sleep and stuff.
Probably like CBD oils.
Oh, yeah.
2 of them.
Probably
So
CBD, yeah.
I didn't know about this, but she has one vial that has the drops, the little things, so like 30 mils, and one has THC and CBD. Okay.
Oh, did she know this prior to usage?
And the second one has just pretty much just a CBD.
Yeah.
And the prescription is that she uses the CBD one 2 or 3, maybe 4 times, 1 drop every few hours throughout the day, and that kind of helps with inflammation and maybe the back pain.
Yeah.
And then the more potent one with the THC, the second bottle, and you know you would typically take that before you go to bed to help with the pain, right? And she hasn't done this stuff probably in 40 years, right? 35 to 40 years. And then her first...
that your mom is... Hi.
Well, though the first time, she misunderstood the instructions. And she
took the THC 4 times a day.
Yeah. So she basically did a quadruple dosage by accident.
That's
Of the
terrifying.
THC.
That's
And she was visiting her friends across the
Doesn't
street,
sound like
the
a fun
neighbors.
time.
They're on the weekend, fortunately, so she wasn't zonked at work.
Yeah. And she was just across the street from her own home.
Yeah, and, you know, they were kind of having a little maybe dinner party or something.
How old is your mom, just for context?
59,
Okay.
60 next year. Sorry, Mom.
Hey, just ballpark anyway.
She's a young 59. And she was just totally zonked at this party, right? I can imagine my mom, right? She's just sitting on the couch, and you know the other neighbors are trying to make conversation with her, and she's gone, right? She says, yeah, these kind of answers. Oh, I understand your son Curtis is enjoying his new job. Yeah, he is. Yeah. And then she just like gets up and leaves. Just walks. No, she said to everyone, yeah, I got to go check the oven. She has something in the oven, right? And just goes to bed.
Yeah.
It's funny to think of your parents kind of going through that again,
totally,
right?
Totally.
They totally did it in the 20s. And
my mom was an old hippie, in like the 70s and well, probably not much the 80s, but like in the 70s for sure. And you know, we'd in our adult life in the last bunch of years, like, you know, me and my siblings would always joke about getting her high when weed becomes legal, and you know, like she has a place in Arizona, so we always talked about like, oh, driving down there and hitting up Colorado on the way and getting high, and she would never be like, oh no, I wouldn't do that. She'd just laugh it off and be like, well, maybe. And then this past summer we were on a family vacation, and so I mean, this is even before legalization happened, but somehow on this family vacation she ended up getting high with us, like as a family, and it was such a weird, surreal type thing. I mean, I was messed up, so I couldn't, like, I was so messed up, I was self-conscious about myself being messed up to really pay attention to her being messed up.
Yeah.
It was still just like pretty cool to experience that kind of thing.
My cousin and her whole family accidentally got too high in brownies. They were like visiting Vancouver Island. Mm-hmm. This is where you do drugs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the green stuff mainly, right? And then 3 of them, they just ate probably a whole brownie each, I guess. Now that's a bonding situation when you got your mom and your dad and yourself, or maybe someone else is totally zonked for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
So how are you doing, Drew? This is your first podcast?
Yes. I mean, I've done like radio interviews on CJSR and stuff.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, this is definitely like my first just sitting around shooting the shit, talking about whatever.
Pretty much. We have people on that have some kind of focus and some kind of specialization or passion about something, and hopefully we can learn a few things about what it is that, you know, makes them tick or what they're passionate about, and then crack some jokes and fart and burp in the microphone and, you know, whatever you want. So thank you, Drew. That was your first contribution this evening.
It was actually.
Okay, so Tom left the room. And
I just brought a brownie for you both, but maybe you know the size of it. Maybe share it with somebody instead of just eating.
Yeah, dude. Like, maybe have like one tiny nibble of this.
So that's more or less the size I grabbed, and that put me in my fucking bed.
It's a big piece.
Yeah, this is roughly about 3 inches high by 2 inches wide by 3.5 inches deep.
I had it with ice cream. I heated it up and had it with ice cream, and it took an hour and a half. It literally took me to go outside and maybe be active and clear some snow.
Yeah.
And then literally didn't know what to do with a snow brush, and Angie's like, I thought you were going to the store to pick up, because I was going to go do groceries, and I literally told her, I don't think I can drive. I think I am high. And I sat down, I'm like, I think I'm going to be sick, and then I went to bed. But here is how. This is Sour Kush. It is 23.5%. As you can see, it comes with a one of those stickers like just on a cigarette pack that tells you the warning you're not using a healthy product or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
the whole packaging is all Health Canada.
This is a really nice little box.
Yeah, and that's what you call a 1 gram box. It's like a little tin. It's made of either plastic or steel. I don't know.
See, this is made by Tweed, which I believe is Canopy Growth, and they made one. It was called like Strawberry Ice or something that I had the other night. Is the one that put me like on my fucking.
So I'm gonna be trying this Sour Kush one for the first time today. I don't know if any of you are. Here's how it sounds like when you open it up. I'm sure lots of you guys out there are like, fuck, I need to go buy some. Delicious. But so back in the day, if you wanted Kush, you knew you had to get it from out east, and it came in a tuna can. That's how it came back in the day, because it just smelled so bad, and you were buying it off people in a tuna can. And literally, if you didn't have a knife or a tuna can on you at the time when you bought it, and you needed to go back home. Maybe it was your mom's place or your dad's basement. You needed one to fucking smoke this shit. Unless you had the people who hopefully use the one with the pull-off tabs on them, but not everybody did that. So There is no smell-o-vision, but I can tell you right now, it smells very potent.
That's some good stuff. I like the smell of weed, but I don't like smoking it. I really enjoy the smell.
Curtis is more of a smell the weed guy. He's not a
smoke the weed guy.
I tried getting him high a couple of times. He may have gone high once, but he's not an enjoyer of the getting high.
I've probably smoked weed every way, and I've never had a single high like that I enjoyed.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun time for him.
Remember the first few times?
Yeah, I rolled several different doobies.
Oh, the pinners, the Curtis doobies.
Curtis doobies.
Little guys like this big.
And I figured over an amount of time, if we were to smoke these over an amount of time, he'd get high, because you don't want to smoke all of them at once, because you'll probably get too high, right? So this was to just gauge, and it didn't work.
Have you ever greened up before, Drew?
Greened out? Have you greened out?
Absolutely, but not so much on weed, but on edibles.
Yeah, I've greened out on edibles myself.
Yeah, like one specific instance I remember, I was out at a friend's place and he was having a party and someone made brownies, and it was like I was just talking about earlier, like, had a brownie, an hour later wasn't feeling anything, so I was like, I better eat some more. So I had some.
No.
And the first probably like half an hour once they kicked in was great. I was super stoned. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto on my buddy's TV, but I was just like driving around following traffic rules. Like, stopping at
law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, it's just like driving around, like stopping at red lights and following traffic rules. But then I remember an hour later, like just running outside and puking the biggest pile of garbage vomit.
I got high off of a lung. Have you ever done lung before?
That's a bread bag attached to a 2-liter top with holes in the plastic lid with tinfoil around it, for everybody who doesn't know.
I've done similar things.
And the point is that you light the marijuana and you pull the bread bag, which is right now collapsed inside the 2-liter neck bottle, outwards so that you draw air and weed into it.
So they called it a lung because the bread bag expands and contracts like a lung may do inside the body, except the volume inside that is about 2 liters. So like it's basically a huge bong shot. And then here I am, like 18,
green motherfucker,
and then I'm doing it with like Cody and Sean, who are professionals.
I was there as well, I believe.
I don't remember anything, and I just took one hit and totally just went to another planet. And then I got sick, and then you're spewing. Yeah. While you're spewing, though, you're having a lot of like very deep intellectual. So the fan.
That's a terrible way.
The fan is going right.
Yeah.
The fan in the washroom is going, and I'm just deep in the porcelain. And I swear to God that I could hear a radio station going. I was listening to like The Bear or something, just like how we're talking right now. And I thought I was listening to the radio through the static sound of the fan from the ceiling.
Auditory hallucinations, man. That's when you know you're like super fucked up.
Well, I'm gonna leave you guys here for a minute. I'm gonna go try this 24.5%, 23.5% sour kush, and just see how it affects me. I mean, I know I'm a slow guy to begin with, but I seem to be having more of a quicker motor response now than I think what I'm gonna have after this. So we'll just see.
Maybe we should make like a control sentence, like a written sentence that you can say now, and then that you have to say again when you come back.
Leaning tower of power, too sweet to be sour. Macho Man, Randy Savage, ooh yeah!
Okay, awesome. Then when you come back, you got to say that again.
Oh, you give him 15 minutes,
Yeah.
With my luck, I'll probably do it.
That smells really good. I wish.
Pee really bad, so this is probably a good time.
Yeah, everybody, pee break. So
sweet.
right over here.
I'll just talk by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, don't spell his name out or anything.
Yeah, no.
He does have a job he has to keep.
MCKFEE.
Fuck off. Poor Pat.
Yeah. Sorry, guy.
Really good guy. So I was just shooting the shit with myself.
Oh, wow.
While you guys are gone.
That must have sounded really insane. Maybe we can just edit all that out, I bet.
No. No, let me.
Keep that stuff in there.
Yeah, didn't let me embarrass myself.
That's fair.
So, how's your pee?
Good. It was real good. I've had beer, sangria, coffee, and water all within the last
Hour and a half.
So it's like,
Nice.
it was a great pee.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a big one. You want to talk sports?
The Oilers just won against Detroit, surprisingly.
Oh shit, that reminds me, I haven't checked my fantasy scores today.
So, the Oilers are the local team, and they're doing actually quite well, which is
I
very
believe the Flames
unusual.
lost the other day, so
Oh, so we must be
And
close with them.
Detroit Red Wings are no team to scoff at.
big
And
surprise
no, the Red
that
Wings are shitting the bed.
yes,
They're
apparently
worse.
Detroit Red Wings and Los Angeles
Angeles.
are doing awful this year. That's two things I would have never thought being born having had
Dude,
to say.
and like, there's a lot of crazy things happening this year. Like Vegas, who made it so far last year, is now
Shit in the
pretty
bed.
terrible.
Shitting the bed
And like
so badly.
a few days ago, when I was looking at the standings, the top three in our
I'll bring
in-
you the standings
the top
here.
three in our conference. I don't know how it is today, but Calgary, Vancouver, and Edmonton were all in the top of our division, which is
Wow.
unheard of for
yeah.
the three Western Canadian teams to all be
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Anaheim, LA, San Jose,
The best
they're
teams
all like who usually are like pretty
on
good
the
teams.
bottom.
So
They're-
just a quick little
And now,
tidbit.
Thomas's sports recap.
So this is not going to amaze anyone, but I am a huge Buffalo Sabres fan, and I am used to every year feeling sorry for myself that they aren't doing too good. But right now, here they stand, fifth place in the Atlantic Division. First is Tampa Bay Lightning. In Metro, it's New York Islanders
Yeah.
is first. That's amazing. Western Conference, no surprise here, Predators. And the Pacific Division, Flames is beating Canucks, and then it's the Oilers, and then the Sharks.
So we're
and
still
LA
top three,
Kings
yeah.
is dead last. That is shameful. Oh my God.
And yesterday, I actually got to go see my first CFL game at Commonwealth Stadium. I was watching the Edmonton Eskimos versus Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I don't really follow CFL too much, but I do understand that this was the last game of the Edmonton Eskimos because they haven't been doing too well this season.
They've been terrible
That's
this
right.
season.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers, actually,
Where are they having the Grey Cup?
my whole family's from
Here in
Winnipeg.
Edmonton this
That's
year.
right.
And my grandfather,
They
he
didn't even make the playoffs.
he roots
So who-
he roots for the Blue Bombers, so I
You know
think I
who's
was
making it this time around?
say again.
Who's going to make it for the CFL
Can you look
Grey Cup?
Yeah, check that out, man. Look it up.
Who do you think is going to make it?
I don't follow the sport enough
Yeah,
to
I'm not
make
really
any
sure.
kind
Okay.
of.
All I know is that Edmonton's been terrible this year.
That's probably Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's my guess.
Could be.
And the Red Blacks.
Because I don't think we're close enough to.
No, like Edmonton's out of the playoffs. We're not even making the playoffs.
But Edmonton did win yesterday. They won by quite a large margin
That's
against
good.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But Blue Bombers are moving on, so it's one of those games that doesn't really mean anything.
Okay, so here's the standings. Doo-doo-doo. So out east, the Red Blacks are first. The Argonauts are last. And out west, Stampeders are first, and Eskimos dead last. That's very odd.
Wow, that stings that the Stampeders are first and we're
Holy
last.
shit.
So
Yeah.
the Eskimos are usually kind of middle of the pack.
Yeah. Oh,
they're,
dead last.
the Eskimos are usually either like middle of the pack or top of the pack. Like it's not common. that
They're
we
behind
just-
the Lions and the Blue Bombers.
You know, like when we have like Ricky Ray.
So right here, I'd
And
say
Jason Moss
Stampeders
is the
versus
coach.
Red Blacks.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Red Blacks really interest me because they're so new, and they're from
Is
a little
there
town.
check see if there's Vegas odds on it yet? Because I mean, they're like, I mean, there's probably was Vegas odds since the beginning of the season. They
You think they would
constantly
have it
change,
this
right?
early? Okay,
But
let's see.
How about in rugby news? So Tom and I, we follow rugby.
oh, okay. I was
like,
about to make fun of rugby, but both of you follow it, so that now I'm the minority.
Get the fuck out. So some international games are this weekend. Tom, can you look up the Wales versus Scotland game? Because I didn't watch the outcome of that one, but I was able to watch most of the England versus South Africa. And for those rugby lay people,
Like myself.
England is basically the top team next to New Zealand.
Okay.
And actually, it's Irish. Ireland is number 2.
Oh yeah. Now, just quick side question about rugby. Is it generally like it seems to be in soccer, where it's pretty much year after year the same countries are dominating because they're the ones producing the people? Is that kind of the similar with rugby?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is basically a top 5.
Yeah.
New Zealand has always been the best team. Some say across
Not
all
always.
sports.
Not always.
For over 100 years.
Really?
And England has always been like top 3, and South Africa is also up there in that very top tier, right? Australia as well. Like, these are the big guys.
Do you know what day this match happened?
England or its colonies?
Yes. So, but Ireland is really coming up. Ireland is number 2 in the world.
Okay.
Last year, or the year before that, sorry guys, Ireland played New Zealand in Chicago, so they did a special kind of exposition event.
Just next one.
Wales won versus Scotland 21-10 for 21 for
Yeah,
Wales.
so yesterday, England beat South Africa by a very small margin. I think 21 to 20.
That would be a pretty good even game.
Yeah, so that was very close. It wasn't a very good game, very low scoring. And then,
so that's considered low scoring.
That's
like
not
21
that's
to
not
21.
low scoring. That's average.
can you look
does,
up
does it score similar the way that football does?
Can you
Yes,
look up the
it does.
score of
Yeah.
England? So for 3/4 of the game, it was under 10 points on both sides.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty low.
That could be 2 touchdowns in NFL CFL standards. So
Yeah.
imagine 2 touchdowns and a kick.
And Wales and Scotland. So Wales and Scotland are kind of the underdogs of the
England versus
international. So the score of the Wallabies, South Africa
In England.
versus sorry guys, the Wallabies is the name of the team from Australia. The Springboks is the name from South Africa. So this South Africa versus England yesterday, and then also it was Wales versus Scotland, and like I said, that's kind of like the underdogs, right? Very strong teams.
So England versus who?
South Africa
South Africa.
yesterday. Very close score. And just did you tell me the score of the Scotland Wales?
It was
Yeah, that
fucking,
was the 21 to 20. I believe.
yeah. It was very close.
So both games were very close yesterday. Pretty cool. So we were just talking about kind of like the top teams.
England versus South Africa. What the fuck is this?
What do you look at?
I think it's giving me soccer. Sorry.
Rugby. Type in rugby.
Yeah.
So the Chicago game, the year before last. So Ireland at the time was kind of like an underdog.
12-11.
12-11 was
for
the
England. Holy fuck, that's close.
yes. That's a very low scoring game.
That's
for,
probably 3
80
kicks
minutes of
and,
play.
and a touch, or 2 touches and a kick.
no tries.
Try, sorry.
Touches is when you're out of bounds.
Yeah, try. Okay. My
Okay.
bad. Try. That's right.
So that game in Chicago, the year before last, Ireland actually beat New Zealand,
Yeah, it was
Okay.
an awesome fucking game.
and Ireland hasn't beaten New Zealand in over 100 years.
Where did we see that?
Oh, really? Like, not even a single game. Like,
No, because New Zealand always wins.
yeah.
It goes on American soil. USA! USA! Ho!
Which is awesome for the rugby market and the States, because most of them in the Northeast are Irish,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So a lot of Irish.
USA!
So that's awesome for rugby.
Yeah.
So we're actually having a similar game. November 17th, Ireland and New Zealand are playing again.
Where?
I don't remember.
Oh my god. And
But is it going to be like a game that's for something?
Yeah.
Like, not
What
just.
day
Oh,
is
they're
it
called
on?
test matches. So if you're not, it's every 4 years of the Rugby World Cup.
New Zealand versus Ireland where?
I don't know. I'm asking you that.
Okay.
And
That's in 2019 or 18?
that's November 17th this year.
Oh, so
18.
it's coming up.
So every 4 years is the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah.
And next year, 2019, is actually going to be the Rugby World Cup in Japan.
In
Oh.
Dublin, bro.
Whereas sweet.
It's
So
gonna happen in Dublin.
so
It's gonna be a
Ireland could
sick
potentially
game.
win this
Oh yeah.
again,
Wow.
which is a big upset. Big upset for New Zealand.
We're gonna have to watch that one.
Yeah, we have to figure that out. The 17th of November. Go to an Irish pub. And they'll have it on at like 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Potato.
And
Sorry, that's a bit racy.
so Japan in rugby is a new force to be reckoned with. Right?
Yeah.
I think they're sitting at about 11th place. 11th place in the world.
Hug and they tackle, hug your kneecaps, and bring you down that way.
Because the Japanese team is primarily composed of Japanese people, they're a little bit shorter than the standard
Right.
versus like the Irish and the Australians,
they hug
the
your
big
knees
guys.
and bring you down like a
So
tree.
they tackle you low. Okay. It's not like in the NFL or CFL when they kind of torpedo you with your head. When you have a smaller body, but in rugby in general, you want to tackle at the
It
hips
works.
or lower.
They are
generally.
doing amazing.
And then the Japanese will attack you at your ankles.
Because they're so small.
Oh,
Yeah.
and they bring you down. They are relentless.
But they're super strict, as you would imagine, the Japanese team, and they have very very good plays. They're not super heavy in the forward pack, unlike
Some of them
Ireland.
can be
And
heavy.
they're not super strong in the
They're
forward
not
pack
super
compared.
strong. That's true.
Just physiology, but they also have a lot of Southwest Pacific players. And that's what's same thing with Hong Kong. Hong
Lots
Kong
is,
has a team.
Overstatement.
And so they have a lot of UK expats and like Southwest Pacific players playing. That's why they're one of the top contenders.
Oh, okay.
So anytime you have a UK or Southwest Pacific people playing in your team, you're going to probably compete pretty good.
Did you want to hear the standings for international rugby teams?
Okay, so
the first 10?
Yeah, so Tom just brought up the international standings. Let's do the top.
As of October 29, 2018. So important to notice.
So first is New Zealand,
Yeah. Okay.
Ireland.
Yeah. You're right.
Third is England.
No, you're close. Third is Wales.
What?
Yeah. It
Holy
is. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Fourth is England.
England is actually doing really bad this
Fifth
last
is South
couple years.
Africa. Sixth is Scotland. Amazing that they're there. 7 is Australia. 8 is France. 9, no surprise, because if I were to tell you they are the most brutal players out there, and they're mean, and they'll do anything they can to win. What nation do you think I'm talking about?
Argentina.
Absolutely, Argentina, number 9. The roughest fucking players I've ever seen. That, like,
Really?
when I'm watching them play against people, they're like the bad guys. You want to see them lose, and then they
the
win,
heels.
and then you're like, the Argentina. You keep
Yeah,
winning.
they're called the
how it feels
Pumas.
about 'em. Yeah. Number 10, no surprise. Fiji number 10.
Fiji's awesome.
Right after Fiji, number 11, Japan, Tonga, Georgia, Italy, United States, Samoa, Romania, Russia, Spain, Hong Kong, Canada, number 23rd. Oh, that's
How many teams
shameful.
are in the league?
30 so
30.
far in this.
No. That's the top 30.
This is the top 30.
There's
okay.
over 100 national teams.
Anyway, this is the
Really?
top 30. So the only ones you want to hear about. Yeah,
Pretty
top
much.
30.
Yeah. So what is the governing body?
These are
that
men's teams, by the way.
That determines who plays who and like.
I believe that's our IRU. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's just like the equivalent of the FIFA for soccer.
Right.
International Rugby Union.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
IRU.
And so who determines, like, is that who determines who plays who and who gets to play who? Because I imagine if there's literally over 100 teams, like, the 100th place team probably doesn't really get a chance to play New Zealand.
No,
Well,
definitely
they
not.
will.
You're right.
Or-
It's
they will.
on a rotation.
Oh, okay.
So if you're with a
okay.
team for a long time, eventually you're going to be playing those top contenders.
Yeah.
But my knowledge in that area is a little bit weak. For example, I was playing with some Norwegian players this summer, and since the scene in rugby in Norway is so small, you're also playing with national level players.
Oh, just like fun league, but it's like people that.
There's only 5 clubs in Norway. There's a
Yeah.
good chance that a number of those guys from each club are playing for the whole national team. Okay, I was playing, for example, our coach Carl at the Bergen Rugby Club. He's the English guy. Most of these guys are expats. Most of these guys come from the UK and then become citizens in Norway, and then they're entitled to play for the Norwegian national team.
Oh, okay.
Carl's very experienced. He's a coach, and he played for Norway, and on the national scale, and he played Romania and Hong Kong. Like, so, for example, those are two pretty high-level teams. But for his experience and for Norway, that's kind of like the best teams that they've played.
Yeah.
Just to give context, Romania and Hong Kong, those are top 30 kind of teams. But then, yeah, to play New Zealand like that, I'm not too sure. Norway is like number 55.
Oh, okay.
Sweden's like number 60, number 70, and Denmark actually beat Norway last week. Denmark and Norway played in Copenhagen, and totally kicked Norway's ass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But in Scandinavia, rugby is like minute.
Yeah.
It's
probably like it is in Canada, right?
Yeah. It's no. The Canadian rugby scene is growing. It's actually not bad. So Canada men's team is or was around 21st place.
Okay. Or yeah, I think Tom said
We used to be at 18 or 17. The men's team has been pretty poor.
Yeah, it's 23rd position is what I just, as of October 29th.
And the women's team, though, for
women's
Team
team's
Canada,
like top 5 at least. I can bring that up right now. I bet you they're number 1 or top 3 even.
and this Olympics,
Look at me talking shit.
The women's,
it's Canada, it's top 3, man.
The women's sevens rugby and the Olympics came in third.
Okay.
And so very strong team.
Yeah.
So we're probably top 5. But good, we've been suffering a little bit.
I think we're top 3 for sure. Let's see here. Rankings as of October 14, 2018. So it's roughly almost a month old, not quite. But it's on a reputable website. New Zealand number 1, Ireland 2, Wales 3rd. Oh man.
Is this women's?
Here we go. This is women. Oh, this is men's. My bad.
Bring up women's.
My bad. Sorry, everybody.
Gentlemen, I gotta use the washroom.
Oh, we don't need you here, Dave. Dave's not here, man. Curtis. Okay, women's. Here we go. Oh, okay. We're not doing as good as I thought. It's number 1, New Zealand. Number 2, England. 3rd, France. And 4th, Canada.
Hey, man, top 5 ain't nothing to scoff at.
5 USA, so we're literally beating the USA.
And that's all that's important.
Yeah, by 1 point. All right. That's not too bad. I'm sure I have to keep this open for Curtis to come back and put his 2 cents on it, because I'm sure he's going to have something to say.
Probably. In the meantime, I need to know where you got this sweet New Japan flag.
Oh, I literally got that off eBay. Somebody had it, and it was still in the package. It didn't come from a store.
Yeah.
I tried to contact New Japan Pro Wrestling, which they have not a hotline, but like a number you can phone. And I was able to not get any type of information, none whatsoever, on how to order something there, because they have a website, but on some of this they say no international sales outside of the US for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
So I ended up getting it on eBay because somebody had it, and I was looking for an All Japan Pro Wrestling flag, which is literally a picture of Japan with a globe around it, and it says All Japan Pro Wrestling in Japanese, and says it in English, and that's literally all it is. But I found this, and I think I paid with shipping like probably $35 or $40.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to look for some of the older ones to maybe make it look more Japanese. I have a giant Baba doing his stomp on a wrestler, but I just can't put it up here.
Like on a flag or a poster?
On a poster. It's an original poster, all written up in Japan from back in the 80s.
Wow.
And I got my hands on it, but there's no way I can put it up here anywhere unless I were to put it in a frame, maybe put it down onto a string or something. But,
yeah.
But hey, Curtis, now that you're here, female rankings: number 1, New Zealand; 2, England; 3rd, France; 4th, Canada; and 5th, United States of America. So we're beating the States by 1 standing, man.
And the USA rugby is exploding as well.
Yeah, they are.
Awesome.
They're getting into it, man. They're
Same thing with
right
football.
into it.
I mean, soccer football.
I saw them sell out a fucking NFL stadium just for rugby. So
Well, that was the Chicago New Zealand game.
Zealand versus-
So that's all Irish people.
Yeah. Oh man, what a game that was.
What did I say? Did I say Chicago, New Zealand? I mean Ireland versus New Zealand in Chicago.
In Chicago.
And that was 2 years ago.
What a game that was.
Traveling for that one.
What else? What's going on?
Last place for women that you can see is 10th place is Spain. Very last place, who do you think it is?
Well, what's the number, first of all?
Out of 55 countries. It's Czech.
China.
Yeah, Czechia.
Chechnya.
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 It's right after the Philippines and the Bahamas and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Whatever the fuck that is. You point that to me on a map. I'd be surprised.
Well, I just gotta say now, I gotta peace out in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up now.
Yeah.
So
Wrap up time.
we're approaching 2 hours, which is like which is what we want.
Especially once you edit things down and cut out the garbage.
Cut out the racist stuff.
God, were you racy? Shit.
No, nothing racy. Any last notes on maybe wrestling or anything we came in to talk about?
Charlotte Flair, oh yeah, best wrestler of the year.
Oh yeah, Charlotte Flair. Yeah.
Doing the moonsault to the outside.
She actually, her and Becky Lynch last week at the Evolution pay-per-view had one of the best WWE matches of the year.
One of the greatest I've seen so far. Kind of like being Steamboat. Yeah. Charlotte Flair doing moonsaults to the outside, brother. That's taking it to the whole next level.
And it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and a bridging figure 4 leg lock and coming down with a great fucking robe every time. A very, very awesome thing to look at coming down the aisle, for sure. Charlotte Flair. Other than that, I don't really have much to say on wrestling.
Is 8-Bit Tom producing anything new?
There are no new songs on the works. Myself and James Logan will be doing an Airstrike Patrol tune, which is this game for Super Nintendo, kind of like a top-down jet game where you have to drop bombs and have dogfights versus other airplanes and whatnot, and you have to like bomb like their oil stations and whatnot. It's like a strategic top-down original GTA style game, except you're a pilot and you have to do missions. You can pick your different airplanes. Very, very advanced at the time, I think.
What year is this?
It would have to be... Oh, man, somebody's going to quote me on this, but...
well, I mean, if it's Super Nintendo...
I want to say 94. It was a late game. 94 or 95 even. It was a very late game. I can bring it up... I'll bring it.
So is it like the plane equivalent of like Jungle Strike?
Yes, absolutely. It's like the Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, Urban Strike
those games,
series.
I used to love that series. Flying around the helicopters,
got all of them. Amazing.
Rescuing people, collecting cargo. Like
absolutely.
Your whole map and your different missions that exist. Like,
oh man, absolutely. More or less just like that. There's no people to save in this, but it's like they'll be like, destroy the oil station, destroy the Scud missile launchers, and whatnot, right? It's very similar to Desert Strike series, Jungle Strike series.
You guys got to bring me back on the show sometime and we can talk about 90s Super Nintendo and Sega games.
Oh, you know what? We have a Super Nintendo here and whatnot, and that was something I was going to bring up eventually, that we could maybe have something hooked up and see, maybe bring up one of your favorite games. Maybe we have it, maybe we don't, and just see... how it holds up to this day compared to back when you first played it or so. Just a thought that'd be nice.
Yeah, Tom was pretty into video games.
Yeah, I'm very much into video games. One of those nerds.
He's got this pretty cool sleeve on his right arm. And I believe it's all the...
Airstrike Patrol released February 18, 1994. So
you called it.
Late release for Super Nintendo, but very, very worth it. I don't know if you can kind of... It's like a top-down game like that where you drop bombs and shit. Very much like Desert Strike. It's a very, very fun game. Anyway.
Tom has a sleeve tattoo of all the villains from SNES.
I have a Bomberman tattoo and some Metroid shit around my legs.
Sick. Yeah.
I got.
I see the big fucking. fish on
I'm
your
starting a Pokemon half sleeve for
So
no reason.
his left arm is going to be a Pokemon Japanese sleeve, right? And right now he's got coffin on it. Coughing?
Yeah.
Coffin.
Coughing.
So we got some pretty cool people on this podcast, and it's a real pleasure having you out today.
Drew being one of them. Yeah.
Drew, is there anything with Called or anything you want to promote before we wrap
Got
up?
any plugs?
Not that I didn't already plug, but yeah, our new album, Thin the Herd, Fail to Learn, is out as of October 26th, which is probably a while when this airs.
Nice.
But it's out on vinyl, CD, and cassette.
Vinyl,
go to
nice.
called.ca.
And cassette, right on. That's keeping it old school.
All three formats, man.
Very cool,
Hit
right
up
on.
called.ca to find out where to order. And give us some money for our music.
There's no money in music anymore.
Well, it's just recouping costs, basically.
Break even, we're happy, right?
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna wrap it up. Is there anything else to say, Tom?
No, check out Sadistic Embodiment and check out Death Toll Rising. And
Is 8-bit Tom spelled EIGHT or is that 8 dash?
either way you put it up on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find it. 8-bit Tom, check it out. Haven't done anything new so far. Done a Pokemon video that was just a quick 1-2. But I'm sure James and I will come up with a good Airstrike Patrol. Maybe check out James' band, the Lucifer Project, and check out Adam Sweeney and Untimely Demise and whatnot as well. Check out Brian James Newberry and his fucking dozen bands out there. I'm sure
Called
if you just
Sadistic
Google
Embodiment,
them.
Into Eternity, Immunize. I think those are the main pack right now.
I'm sure
The
you'll
Lucifer
find
Project.
Or sorry,
Lucifer Project
yes.
as well, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening to the Great Hosers and Guests podcast.
Leaning tower of power, too sweet to be sour. Macho Man Randy Savage and the Hosers.